Hey guys, Probo1701 here, and today we are going to be ranking the Christmas/festive holiday specials that Doctor Who has done since it came back in 2005. I'm also going to be including End of Time since it was a Christmas story, and the next Doctor since it was a Christmas story, but I'm not going to be doing like every special like Planet of the Dead, Waters of Mars, it on here, just kind of the Christmas, New Year's stuff. The weather's changing, my sinuses are all over the place. And if I've counted right, I've got 14 stories. So in last place is Last Christmas, appropriately. I hate this story. I don't like it. It just keeps taking twist after twist after twist after twist after twist after twist after twist. And I'm rolling my eyes by the end of it. I like Nick Frost as Santa Claus, appropriately enough. Capaldi's fine in this. I like the kind of alien stuff that's going on that kind of makes me think of the movie Alien. I think I would like it more if Clara had actually left here, because it looks like the script was written for her to originally have left here. I think you're supposed to leave at the end of season 8, and then they wrote this for her. And it's a great way for her to leave, with him finding out that she's actually old and aged. That would have been perfect. It would have been a great send-off. I wouldn't have had to have dealt with a whole nother season of her. But instead, it's not. You know, she stays, and it just, it's like a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. You think you know what's going on. Oh, but there's a twist. Then there's another twist. Then there's another twist. Then there's another twist. Then there's another twist. The damn episode's a pretzel. And because of that, I hate it. I was rolling my eyes through it. I've only watched it the one time, and I don't think I'll ever watch it again. I just think it's utter trash. Utter trash. The next one is The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. This one's just uninteresting. I rewatched it recently and reviewed it. It's not... it's not like trash bad or anything. It's just kind of there. It's one of those go back and rewatch it once a decade stories. It's not really that good. It is way too long. That's, I think, its main problem. It's too long. If you trimmed it down to a normal episode length, it'd be a lot more tolerable. But it does do the whole kind of Christmassy fairy tale thing pretty well. I'll give it that. It even has the nice fairy tale ending. It pulls that off pretty well. Next on the list is Captain Mysterio. This is another one I've only watched once. I didn't really like it for the most part. And to be honest, I don't even remember most of it. It's very vague in my head. I remember not liking it. I love the Doctor's little speech at the end. Everything ends and it's sad. I'll go watch that on YouTube sometimes. And I think the creatures with the way their face splits is pretty creepy, neat looking. But it's just uninteresting. You could tell it was trying to bounce off the superhero craze, and it just doesn't work for me. Next one is the Christmas Invasion. I just don't think this is a good way to do a Doctor's first story where he's in bed most of the time and out of it. I much prefer like 11th Hour when the Doctor hits the ground running. The last 15 minutes of Christmas Invasion or so are pretty good. Pretty much when Tennant wakes up, it's good. Other than that, I don't really like it. The bit where he wakes up the first time and Jackie keeps interrupting him is pretty funny, I'll admit that. But other than that, it's pretty much a wash and a waste of time until the Doctor wakes up. Those last few minutes once he's awake are pretty good, and I like it. But, I don't want to have to watch this just to get to this. Next on the list is Resolution. I like Resolution. It's an interesting new spin on the Daleks. It's kind of nice that it's taking, the show's most iconic villain and doing a new take on it. I think the actress who gets possessed by it does a really good job of selling that. I got to give her props for her acting. It's really, really good. And I think 13 has one of her better moments there when she's confronting it when it's in its new armor and she's like, take a scan. I actually thought she had a really good moment there, the way she does that scene for the most part. That scene when she's saying her name, she's like, oh, mate, I'm the Doctor. It seems she's a little too excited to be doing that scene. But other than the way she delivers that line, she does pretty good in that scene. And I actually like that Dalek design, that kind of hybrid human, having to work with just human materials to make her suit. I like it. That's a pretty neat take. I love when the Dalek slaughters the military people. That's pretty badass and pretty cool. But then the Dalek its armor gets defeated by like microwaves. That's weird. And then the whole thing with Ryan's dad getting taken over, it's very predictable. Very, very predictable. Although I do love that scene when Graham opens the door and he's just like, no, no. I love that. That was funny. Bradley Walsh is great. But I actually do enjoy the episode. It's a good episode. Again, a good spin on the Daleks. Next on the list is The Next Doctor. I like this one. It just has a couple silly moments. David Morrissey is great in this episode, and I love how him and Tennant, how their doctors interact together is really, really good. I love the reveal about the Next Doctor and who he is, why he thinks he's the Doctor, and all that's really, really neat. I think that was the first time in the show we got to see footage of classic Doctors when he's looking at the info stamp. So that was a huge, little nerd out moment for me where I was like, "There's Tom Baker, there's Patrick Troughton, there's Tupper." Yeah, that was a nice little happy moment for me. I think the actress who's working with the Cybermen, she does a really good job playing that character. She's very intimidating. I like that. The little monkey cyber thing is weird. It's just weird. I don't really get that. And the whole Cyber King thing at the end is a bit of jumping the shark and kind of pulls it down for me. But overall, it's a really good episode. It originally was placing higher on the list, and then the more I thought about it, this was the one I had to go back and add in between lines. Wait, that one really goes down here. Next on the list is Revolution of the Daleks. I like Revolution of the Daleks. It's again a good Dalek story, I think. I like the design for the Daleks, the little human design, that looks really neat. But I love the fact when the real Daleks show up, they just massacre them because real Dalek technology is way better than human technology. So I love the fact that the real Daleks just slaughter them so easy. Although it is nice to see kind of another reference to how the Daleks don't even like other Daleks that aren't pure Daleks. It definitely has some remembrance of the Daleks vibes going on. So I like the fact that this episode kind of references that. There is a precedent for that. I think the Trump character's handled a lot better this time. I think he's actually done really well here. And Jodie's alright in this one. I don't really like how they characterize the Doctor as being stuck in that prison for decades, because John Pertwee and Tom Baker wouldn't have been stuck in there for decades. Paul McGann wouldn't have been stuck in there for decades. Now, they'd have been out of there by then. I just can't think of a prison that can hold the Doctor for that long. That kind of bothered me. It was nice to see Captain Jack back. I like John Barrowman. I like Captain Jack. I think he's such a cool character. So it was really nice to have not just the cameo we got in Series 12, but to have him back for a whole story. And it's so frustrating that all of that other mess happened. And because we probably could have had him in Series 13, and now we're probably not going to get him in Series 13. And I'm really annoyed by that. I've always figured that actor from Game of Thrones, that character he's playing, could have been originally Captain Jack. And then they just had to recast it because of all that stupid mess that happened earlier in the year. But it is nice to have Jack back. I really enjoyed him in the episode. And again, it's a good episode. I like Revolution of the Daleks. Next on the list is The Runaway Bride. This one's a lot of fun. Tennant and Donna are just so good together. They have such good chemistry. Tennant and my mind's going blank. Catherine Tate have such good chemistry together. So they work really well on screen. I like that. Do you have any money? Pockets! I like that. I think the makeup for the Arachnos Spider-Woman is done really well. It's really impressive looking. Again, we get to see kind of a dark side of Tennant's Doctor like we see occasionally. When he has to stop them, that's a pretty cool little moment. So it has humor, it has action, it has suspense. It's a really good episode. It's a lot of fun. Next up is Time of the Doctor. I think this is a good farewell for Matt Smith. And I like Matt with Clara, because they have this little flirty, will they, won't they thing going on that I really liked with them much better than I did with Ten and Rose. I really wish we'd gotten another season with Matt and Clara. I think it's a good send-off for Matt here. I like the fact that he just basically dies of old age defending Trenzalore. I thought it was really neat. I think the cinematography is really well. I really got a kick out of the wooden Cyberman. That was pretty neat. Yeah, I like it. His speech at the end's a little self-indulgent, perhaps, but not much. It's not bad. It's definitely not as eye-rolling as Capaldi's is. But maybe a little too much. Maybe with him seeing Amy is what kind of pushes it a little over the edge for me. But it's really, really good. 5 on the list is The Husbands of River Song. I really enjoyed this one. It's nice to see 12 with River. I think they click really well. I like them on the spaceship. I think it takes her longer to figure out who he is than it should have, considering it's a river. But other than that, it's a fun story. I know the Knights being 22 years, 24 years is a bit of a stretch, but I'm so happy to see River kind of get her happy ending with the Doctor and have all that time together that I kind of just look past it. I think it's a really fun story, a really sweet story, a very Christmassy story, and I enjoy it. Number 4 on the list is Twice Upon a Time. I think I like this one better than most. It's nice to see David Bradley have a chance to actually be the first Doctor, not just play William Hartnell, but to play the first Doctor. I think a lot of us fans wanted that. And while the way Hartnell's written, or the way the first Doctor is written in this, I have some issues with, like a lot of fans do. I think Bradley is playing the script he's given really well. His actual acting is really, really well. I accept him as the first Doctor. I think the story's good. It's nice to see how the first Doctor and 12th Doctor interact. I think Mark Gatiss is really good in this. It's nice to see him as basically the grandfather of the Brigadier. I think that's pretty cool. I think the cinematography in this episode is really beautifully done. And I love the fact that it brings back a departed companion in a way that's not eye-rolling, like it was, I think, with Clara, and the way it kept going on with Amy. It's actually a really good explanation and a part of the plot why Bill's there, which I really like. I love the way it starts with the 10th Planet footage and transitions into the Twice Upon a Time footage. I really like that. And then I love at the end when it transitions back to the 10th Planet footage. The music there, how it redoes Ten's music right there from End of Time to show the original regeneration. That's beautiful. That's one of my favorite scenes probably in Doctor Who. I think it's very beautiful. I actually like the first Doctor's regeneration in the story better than I do the 12th's, because I find the 12th Doctor's regeneration, while his speech is pretty good, it goes on too long, it kind of drains a bit, and the actual special effects used for his regeneration aren't as good as some of the other modern series ones. But I still enjoy the story as a whole. It's really, really good. Number 3 on the list is End of Time. I really enjoy End of Time. I like this take on John Sims' Master a lot better than I did the Series 3 take on it. I like him kind of with his abilities because his resurrection kind of went wrong. I think 10 in this version of the Master, I like the way they interact together, the little chemistry between them. And then I like the extended ending. I feel like Tennant's Doctor, more so than any Doctor, earned it. The kind of Lord of the Rings approach, because this was the first Doctor a lot of Doctor Who fans who, again, were new to the show, who started with the modern series. This was the first Doctor they really had a chance to attach to, because Eccleston was kind of there and then he was gone. This is the first Doctor they really had a chance to grow with, or to grow up with, that they really had years to get attached to. And 10 was so popular. He's a lot of people's favorites to this day, And, because of that, I like him kind of having that long goodbye. It's almost like he gets to take kind of a victory lap, which I really like. I think it's really well done. So if it had been another Doctor like Matt Smith or Capaldi, I probably would have more issue with it because it would seem self-indulgent. But again, because it was the first Doctor people really had to attach to, I wanted them to have a little more time to kind of say goodbye to him. I feel like his Doctor earned it. And I like Tennant a lot myself, so it works for me. Number 2 is Voyage of the Damned. I like this one. I like that it's set on the Titanic. I kind of wish it had really been set on the actual Titanic, but I like the spaceship Titanic. I like the older guy who plays the guide in it, he's actually very famous for another British show. It might be Keeping Up Appearances. I'm trying to remember. It might be Keeping Up Appearances. I know that he's well known for. But he's very famous for another one I know. And I really like him in this. He's really good. I think Kylie does a really good job as the, could have been, would have been companion. I like her here. I like Tennant's little, I'm the Doctor, I'm a Time Lord speech. That's really cool. I like the custodians and their angel designs. It's fun. Something about the idea of something that's made to look like an angel is actually running around killing everybody. There's something interesting about, something that's supposed to be safe and friendly being murderous. Kind of like, the bad Terminator and Terminator 2 being a cop. Or, Barricade being a Decepticon who's disguised as a cop in the Transformers movies. Something about that's interesting. Something that's supposed to be safe being deadly. Something about that's interesting. Yeah, I really like Voyage of the Damned. I even like when he meets the guy who owns the company at the end, and his tooth actually glints, and then it's like, oh, it actually does that. I don't know why that amuses me, but Voyage of the Damned's a lot of fun. I've rewatched it a lot, and I think it might be the highest rated episode of the modern series, if I remember correctly. But it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. And number one for me is A Christmas Carol. I love A Christmas Carol. To me, it's the perfect Christmas special. One, it's got Michael Gambon in it. I really like me some Michael Gambon. I think he's a terrific actor. So I love him playing, basically Ebenezer Scrooge here. I love the spin it takes on A Christmas Carol. Are you going to show me my future? I already am. That was neat. I didn't see that coming. I think that works out really well. I like watching how Michael Gambon's character changes over the course of the story. That's really neat. Matt is really good in this. The visuals are really good in this. It really has this kind of Christmassy fantasy element to it, like it is a story, like somebody's telling a story. It has this, it's really hard to explain the way the camera work is, but I feel like I'm in a fantasy world, and I absolutely love it. The cinematography is beautiful. Yeah, of all the Christmas specials, this one is my favorite by a pretty wide margin, actually, even though I like a lot of them. This one's just, it's near perfect, if not perfect. I think it's a lot of fun. And I really like the song in it, too, that she sings at the end. I actually have that on my iTunes. It's a really beautiful song. So, yeah, Christmas Carol, my favorite of the specials that we've gotten around Christmas, New Year's time. So, what do you think of my list, and how would you rank them? I like to know what you guys think. So, comment down below and let me know what you think. Other things to do, click the like button, click the subscribe button. I'm always trying to grow the channel. We are over 500 subscribers now. Trying to reach 1,000. I am on the road to 1,000. I would like to get there, well, reasonably quickly, just because it unlocks so many more things I can do with the channel. So if you like my content and haven't subscribed yet, I'd like to earn that today. I also have a Patreon. If you like what I do and want to contribute to what I do, since I do import these, I live in the States. If you want to, contribute to my importing fund, check that out. There is a link to my Patreon down in the description below. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.